Hi there and welcome to the Workstation podcast brought to you by theworkforge.com. On today's episode we have Kyle Seitel, who is the Technical Operations Manager from Norwalt Automation, which is a family company specialising in precision and bespoke automation solutions. Kyle started off literally sweeping the floors and jumping on a mill, and now he's completed his degree in engineering. So let's hear his story.
The Workstation podcast, brought to you by theworkforge.com.
Kyle, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on today. Good to see you again. Before we kind of get into things, what is the funniest thing that's happened to you recently?
Oh man, that's a good one right there. I've been having a lot lately. I don't know if you've ever seen that Key and Peele skit where it's just like two people texting each other and one of them is all angry and the other is fine. Oh my god, I've been having that lately with people where I'm like texting them, but because I text short, they're thinking I'm pissed at them, going, wow, what the hell are you doing? And then they're like, I call them, they're like, you're not pissed? I'm like, no, it's just, I text like 5-word responses half the time.
It's hard, isn't it? I get that from my wife all the time. I'm sure she's angry with me, but she's not. So
Yeah.
Really sure it makes things awkward. So no, cool. Kyle, let's start from the beginning. You in a position, you're obviously leader in Norwalt, which is an automation business. So tell us to start from the beginning how you got into the company, and was this always the plan?
Yeah, so growing up in the summers, my dad, who's the current CEO, Mike Seitel, he wanted to make sure that we would always have like a good work ethic growing up, that we would never be the sort of entitled attitude that a lot of people might expect of someone in a family business. So as soon as we were pretty much legally able to work, we were put to work, and it started with these small things, sweeping the floors.
Yeah.
The older shop guys would hand us an actual bucket of screws, and we had to sort them and put them back into the rota bins. Then once it was all like stages, because obviously you can't put a 14-year-old on a milling machine yet. And then, yeah, well, that was the next step, was we got put onto the milling machine, and
damn labor laws,
he's my great uncle. He would give me a part drawing and it'd be like, okay, you got to make this part quantity of 600 on an old style Bridgeport mill.
Yep, know them very well.
And usually at a part 500, he would come by, and to this day, I still don't know if he was actually serious or not. He would look at it, take out his calipers, and go, "It's all wrong. Start over."
And you still don't know. You're still in the dark whether he's winding you up after all these years.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. He's very good at keeping a straight face when asking these questions.
Oh, brilliant, man! How did you feel kind of doing that? Whether you were, you're in there, you're in the shop, you're learning a trade, you're learning about the business, while your friends maybe out playing sports camps or vacation, doing whatever. How did that kind of affect your friendships, etc.?
I mean, yeah, I was a little envious, but at the end of the day, I was making money, and then all of them, when they did get jobs, ended up going, as typical, you're a young person, you do something in the service industry. At the end of the day, you're all going to get yelled at by someone, whether it's an old guy in the shop or a customer at a restaurant. So we all still had similar experiences, but just on a different level, growing up. But I got the benefit of working with my hands, and at least I got to deal with things that had solutions. We always like to joke around here that things have solutions, people typically don't. So it's nice that
I can empathise with that.
Yeah.
So where did that go from sweeping the floors to learning about the business to having your parts measured and quality down your neck, obviously when you're on the mill? Where did that go for you?
Yeah. So after that, I started with some machine assembly, and I had to make a decision because college admissions were coming. And growing up, actually, the thing I wanted to do more than anything was become a doctor.
Wow.
And then after some careful thought, I realized the idea of blood terrified me. So maybe that's not the right career path. And there are a lot of things that were really special that felt like it was happening on Norwalt that, I wanted to be a part of, stick around. And I always loved those summers working with my hands, even if I may have not been the best at it, So I went to mechanical engineering, which my entire family is. And that's kind of when I started being taken through the ranks and really more taken around the company, looking at what am I good at and what do I want to go into. I started with some mechanical engineering design, and being a guy that needs to be constantly moving, it became apparent that that's probably not going to be the best fit for me. There's two different types of people in the world. Typically, the left brain, right brain, and people that like to think things out versus people like to act on the fly. I tend to be more the latter, where I act on the fly. I need to be dealing with things constantly changing, and it's may not been the right spot for me there. So I entered the world of machine vision, which is everything is typically on the fly. You're the last one on the machine. You're dealing with the last bits before the deadline, and everyone's just waiting for your side to be done after they finish up their side. And it fit perfectly with how I think, how I act, and how I operate best. So
Why?
that was when I was still in college. I was interning in that vision area. And once I graduated, I entered Norwalt as a full time vision engineer, handling our vision applications. So
Yeah.
take parts in, run evaluations for customers, do field work, install stuff on our machines, design the setups we'd use, and then follow the machines to install.
Fantastic.
And,
And were there any
mhm.
areas within the business that you felt that you could also add value to? Because after you've spent time in the business, you know the business, the family affinity, but then you do your broad-based mechanical engineering on the vision side. Did you ever think, hang on, yeah, I could add value here, I could add value here, whether it be kind of sales, development, etc. Because you must know a
Yeah.
lot about the business now, especially with that added education.
So that's what I'm looking at right now, is getting a bit more into the sales side.
Got you.
Being from Vision, I had to deal a lot with customers and make
Yeah.
sense of their specs and talk to them. So that's actually where I'm entering right now, is more of a sales side while still maintaining some technical background. Because I transitioned from being a vision engineer to running the department to where I am now, where I'm going a bit more on the road now and running a new section of Norwalt around our Industry 4.0 solutions.
Fantastic. Are you
Mhm.
enjoying the transition and developing Industry 4.0 into the company? Is that kind of your challenge and your project?
Yeah, I've actually loved it because I've been basically managing an entire product for
Wow.
Norwalt, and we actually just launched last week, piloting
Congratulations.
actively a few customers. Thank you, thank you.
Oh, wonderful. And what's next? What's kind of the next challenge for you as a person, whether it be a project, an area, a
Mhm.
sector, or what do you feel kind of where next you can add value in the company?
I would say is I what I really want to be doing is getting on the road and finding out from customers directly what are their needs, because it's we're seeing a lot more success if we can just start, even if there's not an active project for it, just designing solutions for customers. Going, when we were talking on site, you were saying, oh, if only I had this in the machine, or if only we could do this. We had a concept that we want to show you and we can bring it in. Me and my brother Trevor runs our print division. We were joking. I'm not sure if you've seen the show Silicon Valley.
No, I haven't.
There was a thing
I'll
called
put
the
it on the
conjoined
list.
triangles of
Yeah.
success in it, and it was just sales and engineering working together, and the middle line was compromise. I wanted to exist in that middle line.
The sweet irony. And how does it work in the business? Because obviously your business there's a lot going on. You've got a number of different divisions. You've got family. Does it work for you in terms of being wherever you sit within kind of the family tree, a qualified engineer, relatively new to the industry, but also having spent a lot of time in the company? How does the dynamic work within the family business?
Oh, we get along awesome. There's people that look at us and they're like, I don't know how you guys make it work. Like it's it does shock a lot of people that it works out well, just because we, even during COVID, we were all still living together. So it
Wow,
was like we're spending the entire day together at some points before we
literally.
all started moving out. But like we get along well. We all communicate really well with each other, so we don't have to agree with each other, but we can compromise on things, or we can at least explain our side. And like I talk to like some of my brothers. They sometimes will tell me a convincing argument, and I'll like, oh yeah, I sided with you on that.
And
But
what kind of traits would you say make that work? What personality traits? A, make the family side work, but B, make your engineering side work. What's in you that works for engineering and manufacturing?
it's got to be the trust component. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, all of us engineers, we're so stubborn. Like we all think we're right, and that our minds are God's gift to the world. But if we don't trust each other, then we can't possibly compromise, and then that's when like just the tension starts building. Like we all have to trust each other that whatever we do, that we're gonna be actually putting forth our best effort, our best intentions are in mind, and that we're all trying to do what we think is best for the company.
Which is ultimately benefits everyone, doesn't it? Not just you,
Yeah.
but also the family and also the people that work for you and with you and your customers, because the more you align internally, the better solutions you can develop for their problems. That's the way things work, isn't it?
Yep, it's that. And, we see this business as like an extension of our own legacies. Our grandfather, Norbert, came over from Germany and started this business with an Irish guy named Walter, Norwalt.
Hence the name,
And
right? Okay.
yeah, he built this entire company from a garage, and now we're across 2 states. So we just see this entire thing as an extension of his legacy, and hopefully would be a nice extension of our legacy.
Oh, fantastic. So you're now leading on a an interstate and national scale. Do you work internationally as well?
We do. So we do stuff for Europe, Asia, and we're doing a lot more now for Latin America as well.
So true global expansion. And have there been any kind of direct turning points in your career so far that have led you in different divisions? Any kind of catalysts or things that you've said, right, I'm going to go in this direction, or something's happened in the shop that's thought, okay, I need to address this. Any kind of major milestones?
I would say some of the major ones this was like right as I was transitioning from being a vision engineer to a manager. We had a pretty massive pipette line project, and we had to do all this data stuff for a customer, and we're like, damn, this would be really nice if we weren't just doing this from scratch. We could repeat across and sell this stuff as a service. Like we were every time something would go wrong, we were like early debugging, we're like, oh, no one was watching it there, now we had to wait for the problem to come up again. And at that point, that's when we started the foundation for Nexus, where we wanted to build a platform that we know would help us, A, but B, customers were all asking for. Because like we wanted to see all this stuff, but trying to do everything from scratch or trying to create standard libraries every time for custom machines is, get difficult. So that
Right.
was
So that
definitely a turning point where we knew that we needed to have an offering for IoT 4.0 solutions.
and how do you? That was kind of my next question. Actually, manufacturing, it is changing fast, and IoT is something that's been picked up by some companies and
Mhm.
others not yet. For those that know the Internet of Technology, so how do you integrate that into your company, and what benefits do you see from that into the future?
Yeah,
Kind of Internet of
so
Things.
we partnered with another company, EI3, that
Yeah,
specializes in the IoT world, and what they're providing is a platform for us to build a solution on top of. And what we're doing is, it's just all of this is a little box. It's probably twice the width of a phone. You just put in an internet connection with an Ethernet cable, connect it to your switch, and you can manually tell it what devices to talk to for security
yeah.
reasons. And then all we pull in our relevant data and tags, push it up to the cloud, and we all can watch it. So now, if we're doing a machine run, we can start doing special things like, okay, this is going to be our baseline run. Every time we make a change, we can start doing statistical tests, compare it to this base run, and figure out, did we actually make this better or not? Or is there no actual difference? So we're looking at something like OEE, we can go, oh, the OEE shot up 1 percentage point, but that might not be
So you
something
get
that's
real-time,
significant.
valuable, unsimulated data that's usable in the real
Yeah,
world. That's cool,
that's
man.
exactly that.
So apart from that, which is I'm guessing is having quite a big impact in your business and your offering for customers, manufacturing, I said, it's changing so quickly
Yes.
all the damn time. So what changes apart from kind of the IoT have you seen in your manufacturing career so far?
The very big thing is people all want flexible manufacturing. They want to do stuff on the fly, and they want to be able to change what product they have with little to no changeover. And that's a very big departure from how things are done historically, where it's just one super long line of machines connected together. Something goes out, you're kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah.
People want all this built-in redundancy and the ability to bypass certain stations and go, I want to run this size and this size at the same time. And we've already started building some solutions with some of the back-off technology where we could run multiple product sizes or two different products at the same time and not have to worry about certain changeovers or anything. I was actually just reading the other day the whole Celsius and High Noon not really a scandal, but mishap. I'm like, oh, that co-packer could have really used the technology like ours, where we have a machine array designed to run multiple types of products. They just need to check at the end that they have the right product.
It's all it was. It was the wrong product sensei, wasn't it? Ultimately, the wrong thing was packed.
Yeah,
Oh my god, yeah, it was huge. So what do you think's driving kind of the change between modularity, changing on the fly, being able to adapt? Do you think that's the end customer and the ultimate consumer market driving that, or do you think it's manufacturers future proofing themselves in their own plans?
I think a lot of it just has to do with how supply chains have just changed so dramatically since COVID. So if we're talking what was like before COVID, you had people tend to have supply chains that were multinational, very global, pulling in parts from wherever they could typically source it the cheapest. And that started to become an issue when a lot of our machines were now just overseas, and you have a global pandemic break out where, for very valid reasons, people are shutting down ports or not sending diseases across country lines. That becomes an issue if you need certain medical devices.
Certainly does.
So you want to be able to, and this kind of ties in mostly with the pharma industry, be able to revamp production on the fly and scale it up. But at the same time, pharma typically has an issue with things tend to be a bit slower, and you typically have pretty low OEEs because you got to wait a very long time for another process to start. They just want to be able to revamp what machines are doing over and over and just keep running.
So do you think
So
that
with
the
these,
pharma industry, that or the markets that you're in, it's very much, if you want, hampered, dictated by the regulatory process, validation process, testing process, and effectively customers waiting to know whether they can start making something, so you can't commit to the machine until you know because of the drawn out process?
yeah, that's definitely been one industry. And another one would be we see with some consumer goods, people want to do direct to consumer and items like that. Just because you can start saving. Well, the big thing is you can start personalizing orders for people.
Yeah.
You can make like you can actually have pack out, specify exactly what someone wants, and then send all the right products to them to put into a specialized package for the person. And it's even getting crazier. Since we entered the world of digital print, we can start doing stuff like printing directly on the object and then actually personalizing that print for the person or serializing for track and trace purposes all on the fly.
Personalization sells. Sat on my desk, the mug that
Hmm.
says "Daddy" on. It
Yeah.
sells big. It's lovely. It's sat there. I'd rather have that than a generic mug. So now I understand that. And how is your business, and what part have you played in that adaptation between your customer and the end customer, adapting how they buy and the products that they specify from you? What's been your role in that?
So I've been more on the side of shadowing our business development director and starting to implement some of these key industry partnerships so that we can go to customers together because these partners, like we talk about, someone like Beckoff will show us
Yeah.
a technology and we go, oh my God, we could use this for this,
How
and
could you
this.
use it? Yeah.
Go to a customer together where they go, we have a new technology we wanted to show you guys. And this company, Norwalt Automation Group, has a very unique way of applying it that we think would work perfectly with your guys' operations. So that's
Fantastic. Do you
been
enjoy
my
that?
side of things.
And do you
Yeah.
generally enjoy that kind of taking new things to market, creating new solutions? Almost, it's almost kind of giving a pen and go, my God, that's a new pen. What can I do with this pen? And then kind of going off, or a 3D printer. It's exciting, man. Kind of figuring out what you can do with this new technology. And if you're, my assumption is that you're quite, if you want, closely integrated with Beckoff and your other system providers to be able to, so you're aware of the products coming through, so then you can think of
Mhm.
applications and then roll it out to customers. That sounds cool. From an engineering perspective, it does sound cool.
Mhm. Oh, it is. It's good. It's just like at the end of the day, I can draw upon my engineering background and start doing, well, not as crude as napkin sketches, but whiteboard sketches of how they could revamp their operations. And then it becomes such a collaborative process with the customer. They got all excited because they can be part of the initial design. And then what we do is go back and go, okay, we can then perfect it internally and present them with the concept and see if they want to implement it.
And from you personally, is that when you started off your journey in engineering, is that the kind of thing that you thought you'd be doing as you've been progressing?
That it definitely makes sense for my personality. I
Yeah.
definitely love pushing the limits of what is possible and then just going for the craziest possible thing. And then, because it's easy to draw back, it's hard to go
Shoot
crazier
for the
once you
stars,
start
you might
out.
just hit the moon.
Yeah, exactly. It's much easier to always draw it back.
Yeah, it certainly is. But you got to have the guts to actually fire in the first place. And I think that's something that you have, whether it be your personality, your industry, and your market. But it's awesome to hear the fact that
Mhm.
you guys don't just sit on your laurels and say, these are our machines, these are our solutions, kind of off the shelf. You're rewriting the shelf, man. You're building your own shelves,
Oh yeah,
which, from an engineering perspective, which is fundamentally the kid who likes building things, making things, taking things apart and making things better. Surely that's what engineering is. It's solving problems, but you're looking for the problem directly to sell. That's cool, man.
yeah. I remember it kind of reminds me of, I had a physics teacher in high school who would always go, "Don't think outside the box. Just deny the existence of it to begin with." 'Cause if you're still acknowledging there's a box, you're still boxing yourself into something.
No, absolutely. The old Kobayashi Maroon Star Trek, isn't it? The old rewrite the rules, rewrite the game. So
Yeah.
manufacturing, it sounds like you're having a tough but good old time in the in your manufacturing career. Way a tough. I don't mean tough as in kind of like because it has challenges. It has challenges with the speed that things are changing, the way your market's changing, the
Mhm.
technology you have to work with. So you have to combine, align, and decide what works. Figure out, adapt, move forward, market, adapt on the fly, and then discover your markets. So taking that on board, kind of what are the misconceptions that people have, or you may have had, do you find in manufacturing these days? Because where you are, I'll be honest, Kyle, it sounds cool, man, what you're doing. You're basically
Yeah,
building stuff and selling it, which sounds awesome. It really does. I'm very jealous. But
it
if you were to
is.
look outside, what would you think some of the misconceptions have about not necessarily your company, but manufacturing on the whole?
I think the one of the biggest misconceptions is people are picturing still that it's like this dirty child
Yeah,
laborer sort of mill that just does not exist. I mean, you go into a modern factory and it's just the coolest
different world.
automation you would ever see everywhere. And that sort of stuff, a lot of it is of legal reasons, like people don't want to show an internal process, but
Yeah, of course.
it's not advertised in schools. Like in engineering school, I remember it was just stuff like that wasn't shown. I had one friend, she got hired by a robot company, and then she goes, "Kyle, I did not realize you do stuff like this at your company." Like they saw like the Delta robots moving, doing a flex picker at super high speeds, and just, this stuff isn't shown. It's not a
It's
dirty
not.
old mill. It's you're gonna see stuff you didn't couldn't even imagine was possible.
When you think of automation robots, you generally think of just that example. You see typically,
Hmm.
obviously, dirty environment, but you see them in a cage, in a car, plant, welding or pick
Yeah.
and placing, don't you, on jigs? That's typically what you see. But the kind of stuff you're doing, I mean, the speed they go into, like mold tools, for example, and pick parts out and things, and the amount of applications they have. Do you think that you had, well, an unfair advantage in that you knew what manufacturing was before you stepped into your career?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
God, there's if people ask every time we bring in someone for an interview, their eyes widen at what we're doing. They're like, it's like watching children at a candy shop. It's
You got to be
yeah, of
proud
course
of
I
that.
did that. Yeah, it definitely was unfair. I got to experience that growing up because no one else saw what the cool stuff I was doing.
No, absolutely. And what are you guys? I mean, what are you guys doing, kind of internally, to change the narrative, kind of with people locally, and to encourage people into manufacturing? Because that's why I started this, because manufacturing's cool. So what do
Mhm.
you guys do internally to encourage people into your business?
So we have a lot of apprenticeship programs that we have internally just to work with the schools around here, and including
Great.
Matt, my brother's the director of operations. He heads off all this. He has programs around Tampa as well, where kids are all coming in, seeing what we're doing, and seeing how they're like a trade school could be applied to if it's assembly or if it's someone on the engineering side. We've been doing a lot of senior and junior design programs and trying to make projects more relevant. It's not like the same project year after year the same company gives that they don't use and there's no purpose to it. We've actually had a few times we have implemented some of these senior design projects.
Wow.
I believe behind me actually are some of them. So it's just
Wow. So,
trying to
so
like
people are
show
actually
people like
generally having a difference.
yeah, they like
They,
seeing your stuff actually go out and go, oh my god, that is my thing and it is used on this product. Goes a long way. It feels
yeah, it
like you're
does.
part of something bigger.
Yeah, it does. I mean, especially with you guys, because the nature of the machines that you make for so many different industries and globally, you
Mm.
would probably struggle to walk into a store of a certain type and see something where you weren't involved in, because the nature of your product. You go, whether we sealed that, filled that. Do you know our machine? So you're going to have an impact in so many different areas.
Oh yeah, yeah. It definitely drove my grandfather crazy when he first started the company because he'd go around the store and look at deodorants and go, oh, "Make sure I assembled that one right." This is
but
before
that's
Vision could check for things.
But it's just it's that sense of pride as well. But I guess my assumption was, obviously I never knew your grandfather, of course, but he would be always looking at something, and go, how could we have done it better, faster, more efficient?
Oh,
It's that strive to improve.
hind- oh, hindsight is God. It hits so hard as soon as you get the machine out the door.
No, it does. And do you? My assumption, because of the nature of business, do you have kind of a continuous improvement program or kind of ethos within the company to keep on driving those improvements in efficiency, production cycle times, etc., within the company?
We do. We're always trying to get everything better, and even internally, we're trying to grow all our employees where everyone could be super dynamic and be able to do most things in the building. Like if you're someone that's in controls or in vision or codes, there is still an expectation. You get to a point eventually where you'll be able to work with your hands and be able to see things from a mechanical perspective as well.
Yeah,
So we got a
and that's
lot
very
of
important.
guys in the shop that are like super awesome, great to work with, and there's just a treasure trove of knowledge to draw from them. And we want to because the labor pool of younger guys is, especially for people that are mechanically inclined, is shrinking, shrinking.
It's shrinking. I see that acutely. Obviously, when I do day to day in recruitment, it's a strange old time out there. So for
Mm.
people coming through, especially people wanting to go into apprenticeships, internships not so much, but go into, then there's one thing for the apprenticeship route, then there's another thing going to mechanical engineering kind of as a career and go for the higher education route. It's tough to attract people, like you said, because of the misconceptions within the industry. But you've obviously you've had you are in the process of having a great career in manufacturing. So I don't mean to use this term kind of too highly, but what do you love about manufacturing? Because there must be something that, do you know what I mean, drives you every day.
I just love the fact that we're making something. Like there's a
Yeah.
tangible end result of what we're doing. And I go into the store and my girlfriend hates me for this. But then I go, oh, I did this, I did this, I did this. And just that, like as you were saying before, it's that sense of pride.
Yeah.
I get to see the end result of what I do every single day, and It helps me wake up in the morning going, all right, how can we make things better today?
I think that is. It's where you sit within the chain. It has a difference. The first job in a factory I ever had was in the UK. It was for a company that they made like lighting rigs for people like Bon Jovi, Tina Turner, Oasis, kind of major bands. My first ever job was cleaning the cables, uh, literally taking them out of the flight boxes and cleaning them, testing them, multimeter, and then putting them back. But then I knew that those would go out and be like the next major concerts around the world, and
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty cool. Although I was just a young 16-year-old guy testing cables, but those cables were going to be used by like my favorite bands in the
Yeah.
90s. So obviously you doing it at a much greater scale, but I had a bit of a sense of pride on that. I was like, yeah, I made sure that cable
Oh,
worked.
definitely. If I were you, I'd been like, see, if I didn't check those cables, that concert would have been horrible.
Prince who? You wouldn't have heard him.
Yeah, exactly. His career never happened to begin with.
I'll take the win from that one, absolutely. So talking kind of about the future between not necessarily about the company but manufacturing itself, what would you say to someone, a young person, 15, 16, 17, or someone that's looking to transition careers, about going into manufacturing? What would you say to them?
So it depends on where they're going, but what I would tell them is they're going to see some really cool stuff that they could never imagine happening. I mean, we're doing stuff on magnetically floating tiles, which you
Wow.
tried telling me that as a 6 year old. I would have been like, how, that makes no sense. What do you mean?
Some Harry Potter stuff or something, some magic stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it'll actually, it's like air hockey pucks moving around a table independent of each other.
Wow.
Like, you never even fathom something like this.
No, you can't. Wow. And
And
you
it's
could have
just
a
different
part of that.
technology out there that we get the benefit of being able to use and figure out how to take this revolutionary, like a revolutionary invention, and apply it to making an end product.
It's just so cool. So, just in your company, what kind of departments do you have throughout the company that someone can cut their teeth in and build a trade in?
So if we're talking on the trade side, we have a whole shop where people are pretty well rounded overall. Like, we've sent people to schools that they hadn't learned the skill set yet for welding. But on the assembly side, it's definitely a growth process and being able to help some of the mechanical engineers debug some design flaws if there ever were some on the shop floor so nothing gets out. And then on the electrical side, we do have an entire electrician department where they also are a big part of the process, debugging anything that can come up. Because like if something doesn't give a signal, and that's becoming more and more prevalent today, you still need those tradespeople to help debug what's going on.
Yeah, you do. You need to find the root cause, but you need
Mm-hmm.
to how to find the root cause, and then what it means when you when you've got a problem, and then the steps to solve it. There's always a process wherever it may be, isn't there?
Yeah, it's especially here. I mean, it's a definitely a huge team effort to figure out what's going on some problems that could come up because everything we do hasn't been done before. It's not like we're building refrigerators here. I mean, where you could, all right, there's only 10 possible things that could happen we know of now. We're building
So you're
custom
literally
machines.
rewriting the script on every project, aren't you? Or you could be. So you've got to have that
Mm-hmm.
base foundation, a broad base foundation in terms of engineering, whether it be software, hardware, welding, fabrication, debugging, whatever it may be. But because you're creating the solution, you need to be have that mindset to push the envelope as well. So your broad based and foundation, I'm guessing, is very strong across the company.
It definitely is. Our guys here are absolute rock stars where you could just let them loose on a machine, and a lot of the people in this company could like do most of the machine themselves because everyone's just developed that skill set over time to understand what the other departments are doing. So we're able to figure out, like, let's say if it's someone that doesn't know code but knows enough about machinery to understand what the problem is, they can just go, okay, I can stop here and then grab one of the programmers, go, we have an issue with this, can you take a look at this? And what they're saying there's an issue with is probably dead on, and it helps solve the problem that much quicker.
It's so powerful to have that broad knowledge base. It
Mhm.
really is, and it puts you that lack of demarcation puts you ahead of so many customers. Sorry, so many other companies within and globally. It really does, because having that, what as you'll know in the company, is that when people know, they tend to care, and that care comes across in the work. It's that pride word again, but it comes across to a better standard because they understand what's happening, further on in the chain, but behind the chain, and they understand. They have that broad based knowledge again, which is so powerful, man. And you guys have got to be proud to have that culture in your company.
It is. It's. I mean, it's like people are creating works of art out there. It's awesome to see every day, and every day has been a great day.
No, it's wonderful to hear, and long may it continue for you, your company as well.
Thank you.
I usually ask kind of, if you didn't work in manufacturing, what would you be doing? But you said obviously you were going to go into medicine, but apart from the whole blood thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny enough, we actually did a project for a blood diagnostics company. I became extremely heavily involved in. So I was going in at midnight, training in like how to all the OCR stuff with another programmer, and I'm like, all right. I entered this industry not to deal with blood, and here I am holding blood tubes while one of my programmers is training OCR.
Such an amazing, the circle of life, eh? Quite literally.
Yeah.
So obviously, Norwalt, you've got this automation business, and it'd be great because we're going to have people watching the engineering. Tell us about the company and where we can find you, whether it be LinkedIn, your platform. Tell us about the company, what you do, and where people can find you.
Yeah. So what Norwalt Automation Group does is custom machines across all industries, primarily consumer goods, pharma, and food and beverage. We have a great specialty in assembly, just given our very long history of assembling very difficult parts. And we typically find ourselves getting these projects where someone goes, I got this part, it's going to be a huge pain in the ass to assemble or put together or run this process on. Norwalk can do it. Let's give them a call. So yeah, it's assembly, inspection systems, and any sort of special process you want on a product like capping, pucking, depucking. But the core of it is assembly. To
Okay.
find us, our website is norwalt.com, and we do have a great page on LinkedIn that we're constantly pushing, where we just announced on there last week that we're launching our new IoT platform to give people machine analytics, give their starting point for their data science journey, and other really cool things where we are actively working on an AI agent that can go in and check code. And if any of the code
Okay.
is changed on the devices, we pull it, make a backup of it, then make that backup accessible to the customer where they can see what changed and where. And then if they didn't like the change, they can revert things back.
That's powerful.
Yep. It's really, really cool.
Really, really powerful. Well, fantastic. Thank you. What we'll do is we'll put all your links down below so everyone can see that, and visit your sites and find out
Mhm.
more about you if they need any automation problem solving, which we're sure you'll be able to help. So, on a final thought, Kyle, thinking back, if a 17-year-old Kyle is listening right now, what advice would you give him in life, for his career? What would you say? Because hindsight is the most powerful tool we've got.
That's actually a really good question. A 17-year-old wouldn't listen to me no matter what, but I would say you'd be amazed just what you see in a few years. Just get yourself as well rounded as possible because you're going to be talking about this stuff no matter what. The more you know now, the more future me at this point doesn't have to read up on it.
So commit and graft. That's what we're saying, isn't it?
Yeah. Do I should have told him to do all the work back then so I could do less now.
Oh man, I feel like myself that advice. 17-year-old, really good. I think if we could bottle that and sell it to our previous selves, I think it'd be
Yeah.
a very, very powerful thing to sell. Well, Kyle,
But our previous selves are throwing that bottle away.
yeah, no, well, Kyle, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on today. Please, everyone, jump on, go see Kyle's company, Norwalt Automation. I'm sure they can solve your problems now. So, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Thank you. Well, what an episode. Great to hear Kyle's story, especially his deep involvement in the IoT and new technologies. It sounds great. Norwalt Automation. Go and check them out and join us on the next episode of the Workstation Podcast. Thank you.